So we briefly talked about negative exponents already um, this year, but I want to do another review because you are going to need to use them and understand them for next year. So just review what a reciprocal is. So remember, the reciprocal is switching or interchanging two variables or numbers within a fraction. Okay, so if you have a numerator and a denominator and you take the reciprocal, the numerator now becomes a denominator and the denominator becomes the numerator, so vice versa. So you're just flipping. So it says here when x is any non-zero number, so x has to be any non-zero number because we can't divide by 0, and n is a rational number. So if x to the power of negative n is the reciprocal of x to the n, then we flip it. So if you take a look here, x to the power of negative n is equal to 1 over x to the power of n. So what we do is we basically flip and take the positive exponent. So if you take a look here, if we raise a number to the negative 1/2, you're taking the reciprocal of it and then taking the square root. So you need to take the reciprocal, make that exponent positive, and then take the square root. Same with negative 1/3. We take the reciprocal, and then you take the cubed root. So if we do some examples together, 16 to the power of negative 1/2. Well, that's the same thing as saying, so 16 to the negative 1/2, so we want to take the reciprocal. So it's 1 over 16, so the reciprocal of 16 is 1 over 16, and now it's raised to the power of positive 1/2. So now I have 1 over 16 to the positive 1/2, which equals 1 over the square root of 16, which is equal to 4. So it's just 1/4. 1 over 4. Okay, if I take 27 over 8 and take it to the power of negative 2/3, we are going to take the reciprocal. So first we need to take the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 27 over 8 is 8 over 27. And then we need to raise this to a positive exponent. 8 over 27. And now this is also a positive exponent. Now remember, this exponent applies to both of these terms. So this is to the power of 2/3. Now it's positive because we've taken the reciprocal already. And 2/3. Oh my goodness, sorry, that's a really bad 2/3. So what that's going to get me is the cubed root of 8. So cubed root of 8 to the power of 2. And the cubed root of 27 to the power of 2. If you remember this question from my first video, you will know that the cubed root of 8 is 2, and 2 to the power of 2 is 4. And the cubed root of 27 is 3, because that's 3 times 3 times 3. And then 3 to the power of 2 is 9. All right. This one over here, 8 to the power of negative 4 over 3. So again, I take the reciprocal of 8. So 1 over 8. Now I raise it to the positive exponent, 4 over 3. And remember, 4/3 is the same thing as saying 1 to the power of 8. I take the cubed root of 8 and then raise it to the power of 4. So the cubed root of 8 is 2. And 2 to the power of 4, so that's 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, so it's 1 over 16. And that is that. If I had to write these as a negative exponent, so now we're just going to do this backwards, is I am going to need to write it as a exponent first. So this is the same thing as 1 over 4 to the power of Well, it was to the power of 1. I know this is the cubed root. So 1 over 3, because it's the cubed root. And if I want to write that as a negative, I take the reciprocal, so to do the opposite. Take the reciprocal, I get 4 to the power of negative 1 over 3. Okay, same idea over here. 1 over 7, or square root 7, sorry, to the power of 3. Square root, remember, there's a 2 here, so square root. So I'm going to write it as 1 over 7 to the power of 3 over 2. And that will equal, in a negative exponent, 7 to the power of negative 3 over 2. Okay? And the last one here, this one's pretty easy. We just take the reciprocal, so it's 3 over 1, and then change this to a negative exponent. And that's it.